The product was never the product. The recurring payment was. Imagine you buy a software program for $100. You own it. You use it for 5 years. But suddenly, the company realizes they only got paid once. So they change the rules. Now it is $15 a month, forever. You think you are paying for convenience and cloud storage, but mathematically, you are financing corporate market caps with your future free cash flow. Welcome to the subscription economy, where everything from your heated car seats to your daily meal prep is rented out to you on a monthly drip. We have been conditioned to believe that access over ownership is the ultimate financial optimization. It is just $10, right? Cheaper than paying $150 up front. But today, I am going to show you why that $10 is a mathematical illusion designed by Silicon Valley to drain your household balance sheet. This channel is about stripping away those financial illusions so you can actually keep the money you make. If you want to build a bulletproof balance sheet, hitting that subscribe button is mathematically the best return on investment you will get for your time today. It costs you exactly $0 a month, and it never auto-renews into a paid tier. To understand the subscription trap, we have to look at how we got here, because this shift did not happen by accident. Remember when you would go to a store, buy a physical box with a disk inside, and install it on your computer? You owned that version forever. If you never wanted to upgrade, you did not have to. Your monthly carrying cost was exactly $0. That was terrible for corporate predictable revenue, but it was great for your personal savings rate. The transition away from that model was systematically engineered by Wall Street. Wall Street does not value one-time revenue highly because it is unpredictable. If a company sells you a $100 product today, they might not sell you anything tomorrow. But Wall Street will assign a massive premium, often 10 to 15 times the value, to annual recurring revenue. If that same company stops selling you the $100 product and instead convinces you to pay $20 a year, their corporate valuation does not just increase by $20. It increases by $200 to $300. They discovered a massive valuation arbitrage. By turning you from a one-time buyer into a lifetime renter, they could artificially inflate their stock price without actually innovating the product. You are not paying for better software or better television. You are paying to boost their revenue multiples. They needed a way to guarantee cash flow, and your bank account was the most reliable source available. But why did we all agree to this shift? We accepted it because early subscription models were actually a fantastic deal for the consumer. Think back to early streaming services or the first wave of cloud software. They were heavily subsidized by venture capital. These companies were intentionally losing billions of dollars to drive user acquisition. They kept prices artificially low to build a monopoly and get you used to the habit of paying monthly. We anchored our expectations to those deflated prices. We convinced ourselves that a massive library of movies for $8 a month was the permanent new reality. But the venture capital subsidies are gone now. The market has consolidated. The trap has snapped shut, and the monetization phase has officially begun. The days of cheap convenience are over. And now we are dealing with the brutal reality of what these services actually cost to maintain. This brings us to a concept I call the corporate tapeworm. A subscription is not a purchase. It is a financial parasite. It is intentionally sized to be small enough that it does not kill the host, which is your bank account, but it permanently diverts a percentage of your financial nutrition, your free cash flow, to feed the corporate entity. When you realize that the subscription model was built to solve a corporate valuation problem, not a consumer convenience problem, the entire landscape changes. The modern economy wants to stop selling you cars and start charging you a toll for every single mile you drive. Subscriptions turn fundamental utility into an endless toll road. You are no longer building equity in your tools. You are renting the right to exist in the modern digital world. and the toll road is getting more expensive every single year. Wait, it actually gets worse. Most people look at a $15 subscription and think it costs $180 a year. That is the baseline math, and it is completely wrong. If you stop calculating there, you are going to lose tens of thousands of dollars over the next decade. Let me show you the hidden tax and the compounding penalty that turns a cheap monthly fee into a wealth-destroying liability. Because a $15 subscription does not cost $15. Over 10 years, it actually costs over $4,000. Here is the exact step everyone misses when they look at their credit card statement. When we talk about the true cost of recurring expenses, we have to move away from nominal monthly prices. We have to analyze the macroeconomic drain on your personal balance sheet. Let us analyze a seemingly harmless $15 a month subscription over a 10-year period. Maybe it is a premium streaming service or a productivity app. We have to factor in the subscription price inflation rate. Software and streaming platforms historically raise their prices at an annualized rate of 12.5%. That vastly outpaces normal baseline inflation. At a 12% growth rate, the rule of 72 tells us the cost of your digital lifestyle will double every 6 years. So your $15 charge in year 1 becomes $24 a month by year 5 and $43 a month by year 10. Over that decade, you will pay out $3,205 in nominal cash. But that is just the cash out of your pocket. Now we apply the opportunity cost of capital. This is the heavy hitter. If you had taken those monthly payments and invested them in the S&P 500 at an historical 8.5% return, the future value of those cash flows at the end of 10 years is $4,528. By choosing to rent your software instead of buying a permanent solution, you did not just lose $3,000. You permanently removed $4,500 of compounding potential from your future net worth. We compare that to a hypothetical $250 one-time lifetime purchase. The opportunity cost on that single upfront purchase over 10 years is only around $565. The mathematical gap between those two choices is staggering. And we are still not done, because subscriptions are paid with after-tax dollars. You do not get to write off your movie streaming or your music app as a business expense. Assuming a 24% federal tax bracket and a 5% state tax, you have a 29% tax drag on every dollar you earn. To have $3,205 in post-tax cash to pay for this single subscription over a decade, you actually have to earn $4,514 in gross pre-tax income. So the final verdict on that cheap $15 a month service is brutal. It consumed over $4,500 of your gross income, and it cost you over $4,500 in lost net worth. And remember, this is just for one single $15 service. What happens when we stack them all together? When you aggregate software, streaming, fitness apps, premium delivery, and meal kits, the average American household now carries roughly $275 a month in subscription liabilities. That is $3,300 a year in after-tax bleed. Factoring in that same tax drag, this equates to a $4,600 pre-tax income requirement just to maintain a baseline digital existence. Over 20 years, a $275 a month subscription stack represents a $215,000 erosion of your net worth. This is the household subscription ceiling. High income is the water, and your net worth is the bucket. A high salary means absolutely nothing if your bucket is riddled with subscription holes. The baseline water level refuses to rise because the leaks scale right along with your income. This is the part where conventional wisdom says you should just exercise more self-control. I am going to tell you that self-control is completely useless here. If the math is this destructive, why do highly intelligent, rational people keep signing up for more? It is because none of this is an accident. You are playing against weaponized behavioral economics. I am going to show you exactly how these companies use psychological dark patterns to trap your money. and then I will give you the framework to break out of it. Because if you do not understand how they manipulate price perception, you are going to get drained. We have to ask why we keep falling for this trap. It comes down to mental accounting and the denomination effect. Humans are notoriously bad at intuitively calculating the present value of a perpetuity. When we see a $300 upfront software cost, the financial threat centers of the brain trigger an alarm. It feels expensive. But a $15 a month cost completely bypasses that threat detection. Your brain categorizes it alongside consumable, negligible expenses like a sandwich or a cup of coffee. Companies exploit this by pricing subscriptions just below your cognitive threshold of financial pain. They combine this with the Weber-Fechner law in psychophysics. This law states that the perceived change in a stimulus is proportional to the initial stimulus. A jump from $12.99 to $14.99 feels completely negligible to your brain. It is just $2. But mathematically, that $2 jump is a massive 15.4% price increase. That is nearly 5 times the rate of base inflation. They use this principle to slowly boil the frog. Over 5 years, they double the price of the service without ever triggering a cancellation event from the consumer. And if you do finally decide you have had enough, you run straight into the Roach Motel protocol. Game theory dictates that friction controls behavior. So they design the onboarding process with zero friction. It is a one-click integration with your digital wallet. But the cancellation process is engineered with maximum friction. Hidden menus, deceptive survey pages, and requirements to call customer service during business hours. You do not keep a subscription because you value it. You keep it because the caloric expenditure of cancelling feels higher than the $12 you lose this month. The invisible risk behind all of this psychology is the loss of your cash flow agility. I call it the liquidity straitjacket. When you own your assets, whether it is a physical movie collection, downloaded desktop software, or a local hard drive, your monthly carrying cost is zero. When a recession hits, or if you lose your job, your entertainment and your productivity continue unabated. You have resilience built into your lifestyle. But in the subscription model, your entire life is tethered to continuous cash flow. The exact moment your income stops, you lose access to your data, your media, your tools, and your music. You have traded personal sovereignty for temporary convenience. You are renting your own lifestyle. To optimize your wealth, you must ruthlessly eliminate these unrecoverable costs using a strict quantitative framework. Most people stop here. They look at their budget, promise themselves they will cancel a few things next month, and change absolutely nothing. That inertia is exactly what these corporations are counting on. I am going to show you the exact automated protocol to defeat their dark patterns permanently. We are going to flip the default effect back in your favor, and it starts with a simple mathematical rule that will completely change how you view a $20 charge. Once you see this number, you cannot unsee it. The first step in the optimizer protocol is the rule of 173. You must never look at a monthly price tag again. When evaluating a new subscription, multiply the monthly cost by 173. Here is the math behind the rule. $1 invested monthly at a realistic 7% inflation-adjusted real return over 10 years equals $173. So, a $20 a month subscription does not cost $20. It costs $3,460 in lost future wealth. If the service is not worth a lump sum cash payment of $3,460 to you today, do not subscribe. This translation breaks the denomination effect and forces your brain to see the massive macroeconomic impact of a tiny microtransaction. It makes saying no incredibly easy. Next, you implement the capital expenditure replacement strategy. Whenever possible, convert recurring operating expenses back into one-time purchases. Instead of paying $120 a year for cloud storage, buy a personal network-attached storage drive for $240. Your time to break even is exactly 2 years. After month 24, your return on investment approaches infinity compared to the subscription alternative. Now, knowing the math is one thing, but actually implementing it across dozens of bank transactions is where most people get stuck. That is exactly why I built CashClass. CashClass is the official Tom Talks Money web application, designed to be the bridge between learning these financial principles and actually executing them. I built it with a strict privacy-first architecture. There are absolutely no bank logins required. You simply download your CSV statement from your bank, upload it directly into the web app, and the system automatically isolates your subscription tapeworms and calculates your true household ceiling. Plus, you get access to our free Budgeting 101 course. Click the link at the very top of the description to start your 14-day free trial on the CashClass web platform today. Once you have your data isolated, you need a defense against the Roach Motel cancellation traps. You do this with the virtual card burn-off system. Never use your primary credit card for subscriptions again. Use privacy services to generate single-use or hard-limit virtual cards. When you sign up for a service that you only want to use for a specific project or to watch one specific show, use a virtual card that automatically closes after the first charge. The results are mathematically beautiful. The company's dark patterns are rendered entirely useless. When they attempt their automatic renewal next month, the transaction simply fails. You force them to ask you for permission to continue, which flips the default effect back in your favor. You are no longer fighting their friction to cancel, they are fighting your friction to renew. And most of the time, you will just let it expire. Finally, we execute the ultimate reset. Once a year, you must declare subscription bankruptcy. This is the annual zero-based subscription purge. Log into every single account and cancel absolutely everything. Do not downgrade to a cheaper tier. Cancel them all. Bring your recurring software and media costs down to 0. Then, simply wait. Over the next 30 days, observe which services you organically need to resubscribe to because they actually provide measurable utility. You will typically find that 40% of your stack was dead weight maintained strictly by inertia. By forcing every recurring cost to earn its way back onto your balance sheet, you wash away the artificial lifestyle creep. You take back control of your financial sovereignty. If this quantitative, no-nonsense approach to money resonates with you, I invite you to click the join button below the video and become one of the optimizers. Channel members get priority replies from me in the comments, plus custom sketch badges. It is a great way to support this independent research. A subscription yields $0 in terminal equity. Maximizing your wealth requires minimizing these unrecoverable costs. Now, I want to turn this over to peer review, because the data we gather from this community is vital. Head down to the comments right now and tell me the most ridiculous thing you have seen turned into a subscription recently. Did you encounter a heated steering wheel fee? Or a basic calculator app that suddenly demanded $10 a month? Drop your stories below so we can all learn what new dark patterns to watch out for. And if you are ready to see exactly how much these hidden leaks are costing you, do not forget to click the link in the description to start your free trial on the CashClass web app. Thank you for watching, keep your balance sheet strong, and I will see you in the next breakdown.